The room is quiet now. Perhaps the lights are already dimmed and the day has slowly loosened its grip. Your body may feel heavy in familiar places or light, as if it's already beginning to drift. This is one of those late moments when the world feels farther away, and even your thoughts seem to move more slowly. In nights like this, it's natural to notice how small everything becomes. The worries of earlier hours soften, the edges of the day blur, and somewhere in that gentle fading, a quiet curiosity can appear, not sharp, not demanding, just a soft wondering about where you are and what surrounds you, beyond the walls, beyond the sky. Welcome to AstraFlow. Here, science drifts like starlight, and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts slow down, your breathing find its rhythm, and your mind float through wonder. As you listen, there's nothing you need to understand fully, nothing you need to remember. Each idea can simply pass by, like clouds moving across a dark open sky. Some thoughts may stay with you for a moment, others may fade before they finish forming. Both are perfectly fine. If this is your first time here, you've found a quiet corner of the universe, and if you return often, night after night, then you already know this feeling, the gentle descent into rest, guided by distant stars and simple truths. And if this calm journey brings you peace, you can gently support AstraFlow by liking this video or subscribing. It helps this quiet corner of the cosmos keep glowing. Tonight's journey is made of small facts and vast spaces, not facts meant to wake the mind, but ones that soothe it. Simple realities about the universe that ask nothing from you except to listen and to rest. We'll move slowly, from the nearness of this quiet room to distances so large they no longer feel far, from familiar ideas to ones that dissolve gently into feeling. There will be no rush, no urgency, no climax, only a steady flow, like breathing in the dark. You don't need to stay awake for all of it. You don't need to follow every sentence. Sleep is welcome here. Drifting is part of the design. Now let's begin tonight's voyage into the quiet story of the universe, told through gentle facts for deep rest and sleep. As your breathing settles into a slow, steady rhythm, a single question can arise, not sharply, not urgently, but like a thought that floats up on its own. Where are we, really, in this vast universe? Not just in terms of location or coordinates, but in presence. This quiet room, this resting body, this moment between waking and sleep. How does it all fit within something so unimaginably large? You don't need to answer that question. In fact, it's better if you don't try. Tonight, the question is not a puzzle to be solved, but a doorway, a gentle opening that allows the mind to loosen its grip on precision and certainty. When we stop trying to define our place exactly, we often feel lighter, as if we're no longer required to hold the entire map in our hands. From one perspective, you are very small, a single person on a planet, orbiting an ordinary star, inside one galaxy among billions. And yet, from another perspective, this moment contains everything you can possibly experience. The universe, vast as it is, can only ever be known from somewhere. Tonight, that somewhere is here, where you're resting now. As you lie still, it may help to imagine the layers around you, the air in the room, the night outside, the curve of the earth beneath your building, the space beyond the atmosphere stretching quietly in all directions. None of these layers are rushing, none of them are strained. They simply exist, holding one another in place. This question, where are we, does not demand clarity. It invites calm. It reminds the mind that it does not need to travel anywhere to touch the universe. Simply being aware, even faintly, is already enough. And as sleep draws closer, even awareness itself can soften, trusting that the universe continues exactly as it should, whether you're watching it or not. When people speak about the universe, they often imagine diagrams, numbers, and vast distances measured with precision. But tonight, there's no need for that kind of map. Instead, you can picture the universe as something much softer, more like a layered feeling than a structure, a quiet arrangement of space, time, and light, unfolding gently without edges you need to understand. Imagine the universe not as a place you must travel through, but as something you are already resting inside. Around you is space, wide and open, yet not empty in the way an empty room feels. It is filled with a kind of calm potential, a readiness to hold stars, planets, and long paths of light. This space doesn't push or pull on your thoughts. It simply allows everything to be where it is. Within that space, time flows, not sharply, not in ticking seconds, but like a slow current. Time moves differently depending on where you are, how fast you travel, how strong gravity feels, but you don't need those details now. All that matters tonight is that time is patient. It stretches, bends, and softens, especially as you move closer to sleep. There is no rush in the universe, and there is no rush for you. And then there is light. Light is the quiet messenger that connects everything. It travels across space without sound, carrying information from distant stars to waiting eyes. Some of the light reaching Earth tonight began its journey long before humans existed, yet it arrives calmly, without announcing how far it has come. Light never hurries. It simply moves at its own steady pace, indifferent to urgency. This soft map of the cosmos has no labels you need to remember. Space, time, and light are not concepts to hold tightly. They are more like gentle companions surrounding this moment of rest. As you listen, you can allow these ideas to blur slightly, the way shapes blur when your eyes grow heavy. The universe does not require focus. It continues whether you follow it closely or let it fade into the background, carrying you gently towards sleep. The universe has an age, but tonight it doesn't need a number. Numbers can feel sharp, and this journey is meant to be smooth. Instead, you can think of the universe as something very old, in the way mountains are old, or oceans are old, shaped slowly, patiently, over spans of time that don't notice individual moments. There was a beginning, a time when everything was closer together, warmer, denser. But even that beginning was not a sudden noise in the way we imagine. It unfolded, it expanded, and then it continued, quietly, for billions of years, forming stars, galaxies, and eventually the gentle night sky you might glimpse through a window. When you think about age on a cosmic scale, something interesting happens. The urgency of human time begins to soften. A few hours, a few days, even a lifetime become brief ripples in a much larger flow. This isn't meant to make your experiences feel small or unimportant. In fact, it can make them feel lighter. When time is vast, there is less pressure for any single moment to carry everything. The universe does not keep track of its age the way we do. It does not celebrate milestones or mark anniversaries. It simply continues, carrying all its history within it, without effort. Every star that shines tonight is part of that long story. Every atom in your body has existed through countless changes, moving calmly from one form to another. As sleep approaches, you may notice your sense of time shifting. Minutes can stretch or disappear. Thoughts slow down. This is a very natural alignment with the universe itself. The older something is, the slower it feels. And tonight, as you rest, you're allowed to borrow that ancient pace, letting time widen and soften around you, until there is nothing left to do but drift. Light is always arriving. Even now, in this quiet moment, streams of light are reaching Earth from every direction, crossing enormous distances without sound or effort. Some of that light began its journey so long ago that the stars which created it have already changed or even faded away, and yet the light continues, steady and patient, until it finally meets something that can receive it. You can imagine light as a traveller that never grows tired. It does not need rest, and it does not rush. It moves at the same calm pace everywhere in the universe, carrying gentle information about where it has been. When starlight touches your eyes, it is not demanding attention. It simply arrives, offering a quiet glimpse into another place, another time. Most of the light around you tonight is familiar and close. Lamps, screens, reflections on walls. But beyond the atmosphere, light stretches out endlessly. It passes through empty regions of space, through thin clouds of gas, sometimes bending gently as gravity guides its path. Light does not resist these changes. It adapts, flowing around massive objects the way water flows around smooth stones. One of the simplest and most soothing facts about the universe is this: looking outward is also looking back. Because light takes time to travel, every distant object you see exists slightly in the past. The stars are not showing you what they are right now, but what they were when their light began its journey. The universe reveals itself slowly on its own schedule. As you grow sleepier, this idea doesn't need to stay clear. It can blur into a feeling instead, a sense that everything arrives when it's ready. Thoughts, rest, dreams, none of them can be forced. Like light, they travel their own paths and reach you gently, at exactly the right moment. And as you rest here, you are simply a quiet place where they can land. Stars are not born in a rush. Despite how they are often shown, their beginnings are slow and almost unnoticeable. Deep within vast clouds of gas and dust, regions colder than anything on Earth, matter drifts for millions of years without direction. These clouds do not glow yet. They remain dark, silent and patient, waiting without knowing they are waiting. Over time, gravity begins its gentle work. It does not pull sharply or suddenly. It gathers. Tiny motions add up. Particles that once wandered freely start to lean toward one another, slowly, like thoughts drifting together as sleep approaches. The cloud thickens in places, growing warmer at its center, still hidden from view. As the gathering continues, pressure and heat increase, but even this change is gradual. Nothing announces the moment when a star truly begins. There is no clear boundary between cloud and star, only a smooth transition from diffuse stillness to quiet structure. Eventually, deep inside, nuclear reactions awaken, and a new star begins to shine. Not explosively, but steadily, as if it has always known how. This is one of the universe's most calming truths. Creation does not require urgency. Even something as bright as a star begins in darkness and silence. For millions of years, nothing appears to happen, yet everything necessary is slowly falling into place. The universe is comfortable with waiting. You can let this idea rest alongside you now. There's no need to rush your own transitions, whether into sleep or into tomorrow. Just as stars are allowed their long beginnings, you are allowed this gentle in-between state. Nothing needs to happen all at once. Rest can arrive gradually, gathering softly, until it becomes its own quiet light. A single star is beautiful on its own, but stars rarely exist alone. Across the universe, they gather into vast families called galaxies. Each galaxy holds billions, sometimes trillions of stars, moving together through space in slow, graceful patterns. From a distance, galaxies appear like soft spirals, glowing ovals, or faint smudges of light, but up close they are calm communities of motion, held together by gravity and time. Our own galaxy, the Milky Way, is one of these quiet homes. It turns slowly, taking hundreds of millions of years to complete a single rotation. Nothing within it feels that movement directly. The stars don't feel rushed. Planets continue their gentle orbits. From inside a galaxy, everything feels still, even though an immense journey is always underway. Galaxies form over long spans of time, as smaller groups of stars and gas drift together and merge. Sometimes they pass near one another, stretching and reshaping their forms without collision, like dancers moving carefully in the dark. Even these encounters are slow, unfolding over millions of years, giving everything plenty of time to adjust. Thinking of galaxies as homes can soften the idea of vastness. They are not chaotic swarms, but stable structures where stars are born, live out their long lives, and fade quietly. Your own existence takes place within one of these homes, in a calm corner, far from the crowded centre. As you rest now, you can imagine the galaxy turning gently around you, not to carry you anywhere, but simply to hold you in place, steady and unhurried, while sleep continues to draw closer. When we imagine the universe, our minds often go first to the stars themselves, bright points of light burning steadily in the dark. But most of the universe is not made of stars. Most of it is made of the space between them. Vast regions where nothing shines, where matter is spread so thin it barely exists at all. This is not emptiness in a harsh sense. It is a deep, quiet stillness. Between one star and the next, there can be years of travel at the speed of light, and yet nothing feels lost there. Space does not feel abandoned or unfinished. It simply rests. There is no pressure for something to happen in these regions, no expectation of movement. Just an open calm that holds everything else apart, allowing stars and galaxies the room they need to exist peacefully. This stillness is not cold or unfriendly. In fact, it is what makes the universe gentle. Without the space between stars, there would be no balance, no long-lasting structures, no quiet places for matter to settle. Silence on a cosmic scale is not absence. It is permission. Permission for things to move slowly, to form carefully, to remain stable for unimaginable lengths of time. As you lie here now, you may notice a similar stillness beginning to appear inside you. Small gaps between thoughts, tiny pauses where nothing needs to be solved or remembered. These spaces are not something to fill, they are something to rest in. Just as the universe relies on the calm between stars, your mind relies on these quiet intervals to drift towards sleep. You don't need to push thoughts away. You can let them pass, leaving behind a little more space each time, a widening silence, a gentle openness in that inner stillness. There is no demand, no direction, no expectation, only rest. And just like the vast regions between distant suns, this calm can stretch far beyond what you notice, carrying you effortlessly deeper into sleep. Gravity is often described as a force, but tonight it can feel more like a quiet influence. It does not shout or announce itself. It does not need to be seen to be felt. Gravity simply exists, shaping the universe through patient attraction, guiding matter into soft patterns that last for billions of years. Every star, planet, and galaxy is slowly shaped by gravity's calm pull. Clouds of gas gather, orbits settle into stable paths. Nothing needs to be forced. Gravity works best when it is unhurried. Over time, even the smallest influence becomes enough to bring order to vast distances. You're experiencing gravity right now, without thinking about it. It holds your body gently against the surface of the earth. It gives weight to your limbs, a comforting heaviness that allows muscles to relax. There is no need to resist it. In rest, gravity becomes an ally, helping you sink naturally into stillness. On a cosmic scale, gravity also creates balance. Too much, and matter collapses. Too little, and it drifts apart. The universe finds its calm by staying between extremes. This balance is not precise in the way machines are precise. It is flexible, adaptive, and forgiving, adjusting slowly as conditions change. As you listen, you can imagine gravity working not only on stars and planets, but on thoughts themselves. Heavy thoughts can be allowed to settle. Lighter ones can drift away. There is no need to hold everything in place. Gravity already knows how to organize what matters, leaving the rest free to fade. And as your body grows heavier and your breathing deepens, you can trust this same gentle sculptor to guide you smoothly into sleep. Our solar system is a quiet arrangement of motion, centered around a single, ordinary star. The sun does not pull its planets in sharply. It holds them with steady patience, allowing each world to follow its own path. These paths are not rigid lines, but gentle curves, repeated endlessly without effort or strain. The planets move at different speeds, some close and warm, others distant and cold. Yet none of them collide or rush. Each one has found a rhythm that works, a balance between movement and stability. This quiet coordination has lasted for billions of years, longer than any human history, longer than memory itself. Even the smaller bodies, moons, asteroids, faint streams of dust, take part in this calm structure. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is out of place. The solar system is not crowded, and it is not empty. It is simply spaced just enough for everything to exist comfortably, sharing the same slowed dance around the sun. You are part of this system, even now. As you rest, the Earth continues its orbit, carrying you gently through space at great speed, though it never feels that way. There is no sensation of motion, no wind, no sound. The movement is too smooth to notice, too well balanced to disturb you. This is another quiet truth of the universe. Motion does not always feel like motion. When something moves steadily enough, it becomes rest. As your body settles into stillness, you can imagine yourself like a planet in orbit, supported by unseen forces, traveling without effort, held in place by patterns far older than thought. There is nothing you need to steer. The path is already stable. Sleep can arrive naturally without adjustment. Above the Earth, the moon moves with a calm familiarity. It has been there for as long as humans have looked up, and long before that. Its path around our planet is steady and unhurried, repeating the same cycle again and again, offering a rhythm that quietly shapes life below. The moon does not shine with its own light. It reflects. Sunlight touches its surface and returns softly to Earth, creating nights that are never completely dark. This borrowed light changes shape as the moon moves, growing and fading in a pattern that feels both ancient and reassuring. There is no need for the moon to rush through its phases. It takes its time, always returning. One of the moon's most gentle influences is its effect on the oceans. Through gravity, it guides the tides, lifting and lowering vast bodies of water without noise. Entire seas respond slowly, predictably, like breathing. This rhythm has continued for billions of years, long before anyone named it or measured it. As you rest now, the moon continues its patient work, whether you notice it or not. It does not require attention. It does not change its behavior based on observation. In this way, it offers a quiet lesson. Some things in the universe are simply steady companions, present without demand. You can allow this idea to settle with you, a presence that does not ask anything, a rhythm that continues without effort. Just as the moon moves calmly through the sky, you can move calmly into sleep, guided by cycles that have always known how to carry you forward. Beyond our familiar solar system, the universe is filled with planets that never reflect light toward us. They circle distant stars, or sometimes no star at all, drifting quietly through darkness. These worlds are not rare. In fact, they may be more common than the planets we can see. The universe does not require visibility for existence. Most things simply are, without being noticed. Some of these planets are large and warm, wrapped in thick clouds. Others are small, cold and silent, moving through space alone after being gently released from their original stars. They travel without destination, without urgency, guided only by gravity and time. Nothing about their journey is dramatic. It is calm, continuous, and unobserved. This idea can be surprisingly comforting. It reminds us that presence does not depend on attention. A planet does not need to be seen to be real. It does not need to serve a purpose or play a role in a story. It exists because the universe allows it to. In the same way, you do not need to be productive, alert, or even aware right now. Rest is enough. As sleep deepens, thoughts may begin to drift like these distant planets, loosening from their original paths, floating freely without direction. There is no need to pull them back. Let them wander. The universe is very good at holding things gently, even in darkness. And within that wide, unseen space, rest finds its way naturally, without effort, without light, simply by continuing to be. Around many planets, there is a thin, invisible layer that changes everything. An atmosphere. It does not announce itself, and it cannot be held. Yet it shapes climate, sound, temperature, and time. Atmospheres are gentle boundaries, soft envelopes that hold warmth and motion close, allowing planets to feel less exposed to the vastness around them. On Earth, the atmosphere is always working quietly. It scatters sunlight into blue skies, softens the cold of space, and carries the air you breathe without effort or awareness. It moves in slow currents, rising and falling, circling the planet in patterns that feel almost like breathing. There is no single breath, no pause between inhales. It is continuous, calm, and reliable. Other planets have atmospheres very different from our own. Some are thick and heavy, pressing down with immense weight. Others are thin, barely present, offering little protection. Yet none of these atmospheres are mistakes. Each one is simply the result of balance. Gravity holding gases close, energy warming them, time allowing them to settle into place. As you rest now, you can become faintly aware of your own breathing, not by controlling it, but by noticing its quiet presence. Air enters, air leaves. The body knows how to do this without instruction. In the same way, planets know how to hold their atmospheres, and atmospheres know how to move gently around them. Nothing needs to be forced. The universe, and your body within it, are very good at sustaining what is needed, especially as you drift further into sleep. Everything in the universe is moving, yet almost nothing makes a sound. Planets circle stars, moons circle planets, stars themselves drift within galaxies, even galaxies move, slowly separating from one another as space expands. And still, there is no noise. Motion on a cosmic scale is completely silent. An orbit is not a path carved into space. It is a balance, a quiet agreement between movement and gravity, where falling never quite reaches its destination. A planet is always falling toward its star and always missing, guided into a smooth curve that repeats endlessly. This balance does not need correction. It does not need awareness. Once it is established, it continues with calm reliability. You can imagine these orbits as invisible lines drawn in darkness, gentle loops traced again and again over millions of years. Nothing rushes along these paths. Nothing hesitates. There's no sense of being late or early. Each object arrives exactly where it needs to be, simply by continuing its motion. This soundless movement can feel deeply restful to the mind. We're used to associating motion with effort, with friction, with noise. But the universe shows another possibility: movement without strain, progress without pressure, continuity without urgency. As you rest here, your body is also following quiet orbits of its own. Breathing rises and falls. The heart keeps a steady rhythm. Thoughts may circle gently, returning to familiar places before drifting away again. None of this needs your attention. Like planets in their paths, these processes know how to continue on their own. You can allow yourself to be carried by this idea, motion that requires nothing from you, a path that holds you without effort. In this deep, soundless movement, there is no demand to stay awake. Rest is already built into the rhythm, and as everything continues quietly around you, sleep can settle in, smooth and uninterrupted, like an orbit that never needs to end. Time is often imagined as a straight line, moving forward in neat, measured steps. Seconds follow seconds, days follow days, and everything seems to march in one direction. But the universe does not experience time this way. On a cosmic scale, time behaves more like a river. It flows, it curves, it slows, and sometimes it stretches so wide that movement within it becomes almost unnoticeable. In space, time can pass at different rates depending on motion and gravity. Near massive objects, it moves more slowly. Far from them, it flows more freely. This is not something to calculate tonight. It is simply a reminder that time is flexible, not rigid. It adapts to conditions, just as water adapts to the shape of its banks. You may notice this flexibility in your own experience as sleep approaches. A few minutes can feel long, or they can vanish completely. Memories may drift in from distant moments, while the present softens and fades. This is not confusion. It is the mind beginning to loosen its grip on linear time, allowing itself to float within it instead. The universe does not rush its moments. Stars take millions of years to change. Galaxies evolve over billions. In that context, there is no pressure for anything to happen quickly. Rest fits naturally into this flow. When you stop measuring time, it becomes easier to let go of expectation. As you lie here now, you can imagine yourself resting beside a slow river. You do not need to swim. You do not need to follow the current. You can simply be held by it, feeling its steady movement without resistance. Time will continue whether you watch it or not. And as it carries everything forward at its own pace, you are free to drift gently into sleep, without counting, without effort, without needing to know where the river leads. The speed of light is often spoken about with a sense of intensity, as if it represents a limit that must be approached with awe or urgency. But tonight, it can be something gentler. Light moves quickly, yes, but it never hurries. It does not accelerate or slow down because it feels pressure. It simply travels at its own steady pace, the same everywhere in the universe without effort. Light does not experience time the way we do. From its perspective, there is no long journey, no waiting. The moment it leaves a star and the moment it arrives somewhere else are quietly connected. For us, those moments can be separated by years, centuries, or more. But light remains calm, untouched by distance, carrying its message patiently across space. This constancy is one of the universe's most soothing qualities. No matter how chaotic things may seem, some rhythms never change. Light does not get tired. It does not forget its direction. It does not hesitate. It moves because moving is what it does, and it does so without disturbance. As you rest now, you don't need to imagine travelling at such speed. Instead, you can let the idea settle as a feeling of reliability. Some processes continue perfectly without your attention. Your breathing does this, your heartbeat does this. The quiet movement towards sleep does this too. Light teaches us that arrival does not require urgency. Things reach you when they are ready. Thoughts can arrive softly or not at all. Dreams will come in their own time, and as the night deepens, you can trust that rest is already on its way, moving steadily toward you, calm and certain, without needing you to follow it. Black holes are often described in dramatic ways, as if they are violent or threatening. But in reality, they are among the quietest objects in the universe. A black hole does not roam through space, pulling everything toward it. It stays where it is, shaped by gravity, responding only to what comes close enough to be gently guided inward. Most black holes form from stars that have reached the end of a very long life. After shining steadily for millions or billions of years, a massive star slowly runs out of fuel. Its outer layers drift away, and what remains settles inward, becoming dense and still. The black hole is not a sudden event. It is the calm result of balance changing over time. From far away, a black hole behaves just like any other object with mass. Planets could orbit it peacefully. Stars could pass by without disturbance. There is no invisible pull reaching across space. Only near its centre does gravity become strong enough to hold even light. And even then, nothing dramatic is visible. There is no sound, no flash, no signal of what has crossed that quiet boundary. This is important to remember as your mind drifts. Some ideas feel heavy simply because they are unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean dangerous. The universe contains many deep, quiet places where things slow down and rest. Black holes are part of that landscape, not exceptions to it. As sleep approaches, you may feel yourself moving inward too, toward a deeper stillness. Thoughts thin out. Awareness narrows. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being lost. You're simply settling into a quieter region of experience, where effort is no longer required. Like a black hole at rest, this stillness is not frightening. It is calm, contained, and perfectly natural. Nebulae are places where the universe seems to slow down and imagine. They are vast clouds of gas and dust, spread so gently that their edges are never sharp. Light passes through them softly, scattering into faint colours that feel more like memory than structure. These are not solid objects. They are drifting regions, suspended between what has been and what may one day form. Some nebulae are the quiet remains of stars that have finished their long lives. Others are places where new stars are beginning their slow gathering. Often, they are both at once. Endings and beginnings blend together so smoothly that it becomes impossible to tell where one stops and the other begins. The universe does not separate these moments. It allows them to overlap, to coexist without urgency. Within a nebula, motion is almost imperceptible. Particles move, but so slowly that change takes thousands or millions of years. Nothing is rushed, nothing is wasted. The cloud simply drifts, responding gently to gravity and light, shaping itself over time without instruction or awareness. As you rest now, this image can mirror the state of your own mind. Thoughts become softer, less defined. Memories, ideas, and sensations drift together without forming clear edges. This is not confusion. It is the natural landscape of rest, a place where nothing needs to be finished or decided. Nebulae remind us that creation does not require clarity. Things can exist in a dreamlike state for a very long time before taking shape. And tonight, you are allowed that same softness. You can remain in this gentle cloud of awareness, where nothing demands form, and sleep can emerge quietly, like a distant star slowly learning how to shine. The universe is expanding. This does not mean it is rushing outward or tearing itself apart. It is much gentler than that. Space itself is slowly stretching, carrying galaxies away from one another without friction or strain. There is no center to this expansion, no edge pushing outward. Every region of space participates equally, like a breath taken so slowly it is barely noticed. Imagine dots drawn on the surface of the balloon. As the balloon is gently inflated, each dot moves away from the others. None of them are travelling across the surface on their own. The surface itself is changing. In a similar way, galaxies are not speeding through space to escape one another. The space between them is quietly growing, creating more room everywhere at once. This expansion happens on scales so large that it does not disturb local structures. Galaxies remain intact. Stars continue their orbits. Planets circle calmly, unaware of the slow widening of the universe around them. Expansion does not interfere with rest. It allows stability to exist within change. As you lie here, you can feel a parallel within your own body. Breathing gently opens space inside you. With each inhale, the chest expands slightly. With each exhale, it softens and releases. There is no need to force this motion. It happens on its own, steady and reliable. The universe expands in the same way. No effort, no urgency, just a quiet allowance for more space to exist. And as your breathing continues, and your thoughts grow wider and less focused, you can let yourself expand into rest as well. There is room for sleep here, plenty of it. Space enough for everything to slow down and nothing to be left behind. Far beyond the regions where stars gather and galaxies glow, there is deep space. Not a place you could point to, not a destination, but a vast quiet that exists between everything. In these regions, matter becomes so sparse that distance itself feels softened. One particle may drift for years without encountering another. Nothing interrupts the silence. Nothing breaks the calm. This silence is not empty in a lonely way. It is full of allowance. In deep space, there is no pressure for interaction, no demand for reaction. Light passes through without scattering. Gravity stretches thin. Time feels wide, almost still. It is a kind of quiet so complete that even change becomes gentle. You can imagine this silence as a dark ocean without waves. No surface tension. No movement that needs attention. Just a deep, steady presence that holds everything else apart, giving the universe its sense of openness. Without this silence, there would be no balance, No room for galaxies to exist without colliding. No space for stars to live long, stable lives. As your awareness continues to soften, you may notice a similar quiet appearing within you. Thoughts arrive less frequently now. When they do, they pass through more lightly, leaving little trace behind. There may be moments where nothing appears at all. These moments do not need to be filled. They are not gaps. They are rest. Deep space teaches us that silence is not something to escape. It is something to enter. A place where nothing is required, where awareness can remain without effort. You don't need to focus on this silence. You don't need to understand it. Simply allowing it to be present is enough. In this long cosmic quiet, everything continues exactly as it should. Stars keep shining, galaxies keep drifting, and you too can continue without doing anything at all, letting this deep silence carry you gently, steadily, further into sleep. Everything solid in the universe begins very simply. Long before planets, before stars, before even the first atoms, there were only a few basic ingredients. Tiny particles, indistinguishable from one another, spread evenly through space. They did not know what they would become. They did not carry instructions. They simply existed quietly, waiting for time to do its slow work. As the universe cooled and expanded, these particles began to combine. Protons and neutrons gathered. Electrons settled into gentle patterns around them. Atoms formed, not through effort, but through natural balance. Hydrogen appeared first, light and abundant. Helium followed. Heavier elements would come much later, created patiently inside stars. What's comforting about this is how little complexity is required at the beginning. The universe does not rush towards sophistication. It allows simplicity to remain simple for a very long time. Only when conditions are right does change occur, and even then, it happens gradually, layer by layer. Every object you know is made from these same basic pieces. The ground beneath you, the air around you, your own body resting now. There is no special separation between cosmic matter and human matter. The same atoms drifted through ancient space long before they became part of anything recognizable. As you relax further, this idea does not need to stay precise. It can become a feeling instead. A sense that complexity is not something you need to maintain right now. Beneath thoughts, beneath identity, there is a simpler state of being, just existing, just resting. Like the early universe, calm and uncomplicated, letting time move gently around you as sleep continues to deepen. There are a quiet phrase often shared about the universe that we are made of stardust. Tonight, this idea does not need to feel poetic or impressive. It can feel ordinary, even comforting. The atoms in your body were not created with you. They have travelled through many forms, many places, many long spans of time, before arriving here, resting as you. Long ago, inside stars much larger than our sun, simple elements were slowly transformed. Under steady heat and pressure, hydrogen became helium, and helium became heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, iron. When those stars reach the end of their long lives, they release these materials gently back into space. Not as destruction, but as redistribution. The universe quietly sharing what it had learned to make. Over time, this enriched material gathered again. New stars formed, planets took shape. Eventually, chemistry became complex enough for life to appear. Nothing about this process was personal. And yet, here you are, made from those same elements, arranged for a while into thoughts, breath, and warmth. This is not meant to feel significant in a demanding way. It can feel neutral, even soothing. You do not need to live up to the history of your atoms. They're not expecting anything from you. They have existed before, and they will exist again, changing forms calmly, without urgency. As sleep approaches, it may help to imagine your body as something temporary and well supported. Not fragile, not heavy with meaning, just a gentle gathering of familiar material resting for the night. Stardust that has nothing to prove, stardust that is allowed to be still, and in that stillness it becomes easier to let go, trusting that everything you are made of already knows how to rest. Beneath all the movement in the universe there is a quiet consistency. Physical laws do not change their minds. They do not react to moods or moments. They operate gently, evenly, everywhere at once. Whether in the heart of a distant galaxy or in the smallest space between atoms, the same rules apply, without effort or awareness. These laws are not strict in a harsh way. They are permissive. They allow stars to shine steadily, planets to remain in orbit, and matter to organize itself into patterns that last. Without these calm rules, the universe would feel unstable, unpredictable. But because they exist, everything can relax into its place, knowing what to expect from the space around it. You don't need to know the equations or names behind these laws. Tonight, it's enough to feel their presence as reliability. The ground beneath you remains solid. The air continues to support breath. Heat moves from warm to cool, gently equalizing. Nothing surprises the universe at this level. It has been practicing consistency for a very long time. As you rest now, your body follows these same quiet principles. Muscles release when they no longer need to hold. Breathing adjusts without instruction. Balance is restored naturally when given enough time. There is no need to supervise these processes. They are part of the same calm order that governs stars and space. This can be reassuring as sleep deepens. You do not need to manage yourself into rest. You are already part of a system that knows how to settle. Just as the universe trusts its own laws to keep everything flowing smoothly, you can trust your body and mind to do what they have always known how to do. Slow down, soften, and drift gently into sleep. Energy is everywhere in the universe, yet it rarely stays in one form for long. It moves quietly from place to place, changing shape without disappearing. Heat becomes motion, motion becomes light, light becomes warmth again. Nothing is lost, nothing needs to be held tightly. Energy simply flows, adapting to its surroundings with calm flexibility. Stars release energy as light and heat, spreading it gently into space. Planets absorb some of it, warming surfaces, stirring atmospheres. Living things borrow small amounts of this energy to grow, to move, to think, and then return it slowly to the world around them. The universe is not a system of consumption, but of circulation. What's soothing about this is the absence of waste. Even when energy seems to fade, it is only changing form. The warmth in your body now is not permanent, and it does not need to be. It will move on naturally, just as it arrived. There is no moment where energy vanishes or fails. It continues quietly, finding new expressions without effort. As you lie still, your own energy is shifting. The alertness of the day softens into rest. Muscular tension becomes warmth. Thoughts lose their sharp edges and dissolve into sensation. This is not loss, it is transformation. The same energy remains, simply settling into a gentler state. You don't need to guide this process. Like the universe, your body understands how to change shape smoothly. Wakefulness becomes drowsiness. Drowsiness becomes sleep. Nothing is forced, nothing is resisted. Energy finds the form that fits the moment best, and tonight, that form is rest, quiet and complete, unfolding naturally as you continue to drift. When we hear the word darkness, it can sometimes feel like a lack or an absence of something important. But in the universe, darkness is not empty at all. Much of what exists cannot be seen, not because it is missing, but because it does not interact with light in the ways we expect. Darkness in this sense is simply quiet presence. Between stars and galaxies there are vast regions filled with subtle forms of matter and energy. Dark matter gently shapes the motion of galaxies, holding them together without ever revealing itself directly. Dark energy influences the expansion of space itself, stretching the universe calmly over time. These unseen companions do not announce themselves. They work silently, patiently, without needing recognition. This teaches a gentle lesson. Not everything important needs to be visible. Not everything meaningful needs to be understood clearly. The universe functions beautifully while holding mysteries at its core, allowing unknowns to exist without urgency or fear. As you rest now, you may notice your surroundings growing darker too. The room fades, details soften. This darkness does not take anything away. It gives your senses permission to rest. Vision quiets, attention turns inward, awareness becomes simpler. You can allow this kind of darkness to surround you, both outside and within. A darkness that holds rather than hides. A darkness that supports rest rather than demands alertness. Just as the universe relies on unseen forces to remain balanced, you can rely on this gentle dark to carry you safely towards sleep, without needing to see where you are going. There is a moment, sometimes just before sleep, when direction begins to lose its meaning. Thoughts no longer feel like they're going somewhere. Sensations soften, no longer pointing forward or backward. It can feel a little like floating, as if gravity inside the mind has eased, allowing everything to drift without needing a path. In the universe, there are objects that move this way. Rogue planets, released gently from their original stars, travel through space alone. They are not lost. They are simply no longer orbiting anything in particular. They drift through the galaxy quietly, carried by momentum and time without destination or urgency. The universe allows this kind of motion. It does not insist that everything revolve around something else. Floating without direction is not a failure of structure. It is another valid state of being. In deep space, there is no preferred up or down, no forward or back. Orientation becomes optional. Movement continues but without intention. This is one of the calmest conditions the universe offers. As you rest now, you may notice a similar release happening within you. The need to follow thoughts loosens. Plans dissolve. Even the idea of falling asleep can fade. There is no requirement to arrive anywhere. You can simply float in awareness, letting sensations come and go without labeling them. If thoughts appear, they can drift past like distant objects, not pulling you along with them. If nothing appears, that is perfectly fine too. This state does not need to be maintained. It does not need to deepen or progress. Like a body floating in still water, it supports itself naturally. In this directionless calm, effort has no role. The universe does not rush rogue planets to find new stars. It allows them to travel quietly, indefinitely. And you too are allowed this pause from purpose. Floating is enough. Resting is enough. Sleep can emerge gently from this openness, without needing to be invited or guided, simply because there is nothing left to hold you awake. It's natural to imagine the universe as something with a boundary, a far edge where space simply stops. The mind likes endings and borders, but as far as we can tell, the universe does not offer one. There is no wall at the end of space, no final place where everything concludes. Instead, space continues smoothly, without interruption, without a clear limit. This doesn't mean the universe is infinite in a way that needs to be understood. Tonight, it's enough to feel that it is uncontained. Wherever you go, there is more space. Wherever you pause, there is room beyond that pause. The universe does not crowd itself. It does not close in. It remains open, allowing everything inside it to exist without pressure. When you think about this gently, it can bring a sense of relief. If there is no edge to reach, then there is no place you need to arrive, no final point to approach. Rest does not require completion. Sleep does not require crossing a threshold. You're already inside the openness you need. As you lie here, you may notice a similar openness in your own awareness. Thoughts no longer form tight loops. Sensations spread out, becoming less defined. The mind does not feel boxed in. There is space around each experience and space between them too. The universe without an edge offers permission to let go of containment. You don't need to hold yourself together tightly. You don't need to stay within lines. Awareness can widen and soften, just as space itself does. And within that gentle openness, it becomes easier to rest, easier to drift, allowing sleep to unfold naturally without needing an ending to begin. There are ideas in science that do not insist on being believed. They exist gently, as possibilities rather than conclusions. The idea of many worlds is one of these. It suggests that the universe we experience may not be the only one, that reality could hold many versions, many variations, each unfolding quietly alongside the others. These possible worlds are not places to visit. They do not overlap or interfere. They simply exist as part of a larger landscape of what could be. Science explores these ideas carefully, without urgency, knowing that some questions do not need immediate answers. Possibility itself can be enough. What's calming about this thought is its lack of demand. If there are many worlds, they do not require our attention. They do not change how stars move or how sleep arrives. They are not calling to us. They remain distant, hypothetical, and perfectly still. You can let this idea soften into the background, the way distant music fades as you drift toward rest. It does not need to be followed. It does not need to make sense. It can simply exist as a quiet reminder that reality is larger than any single experience, and that not everything needs to be held in one place. As your awareness continues to loosen, you may notice that thoughts feel less personal, less fixed. They come and go without insisting on importance. This is natural. Just as the universe may hold many possible worlds without disturbance, your mind can hold many passing impressions without needing to stay with any of them. In this quiet openness, sleep does not feel like a transition anymore. It feels like another valid state among many, one more way of being, and tonight it is the one that fits best, arriving gently, without explanation, without resistance, simply because the moment allows it. Life in the universe does not announce itself loudly. As far as we can tell, it appears rarely, quietly, under very specific conditions. On Earth, life emerged slowly, from simple chemistry to complex forms, over billions of years. There was no moment when the universe marked this as an event. It happened softly, like a whisper carried by time. The vast majority of space is lifeless, not because life is unwelcome, but because the balance required for it is delicate. Temperature, chemistry, energy, and stability must align gently. When they do, life does not rush. It adapts, experiments, and rests within its environment, becoming part of the planet's rhythm. This rarity does not make life fragile in a dramatic way. It makes it quiet. Life survives by fitting in, by flowing with conditions rather than forcing them. On Earth, this has led to forests, oceans, and countless small forms that exist without ever being noticed. As you rest now, you are part of this quiet phenomenon. You do not need to justify your existence. You do not need to stand out or perform. Life is allowed to be subtle. Rest is one of its natural expressions. Sleep is not an absence of life. It is one of its most important rhythms, a period when awareness dims and processes continue gently beneath the surface. In the same way that life began quietly and continues without announcement, your rest can arrive softly, without fanfare, without thought, simply as the natural next state of being. Among the countless worlds drifting through the universe, Earth holds a rare balance, not extreme, not fragile in a dramatic way, but gently tuned. The distance from its star is just right. The atmosphere is neither too thin nor too heavy. Water can remain liquid, flowing slowly across the surface, shaping land without violence. This balance was not planned. It emerged naturally through long periods of adjustment and patience. Earth does not stand out because it is loud or powerful. It stands out because it is calm. Its systems settle into cycles that repeat without instruction. Day follows night. Seasons change gradually. Oceans rise and fall. Even storms, when they come, pass and give way to stillness again. The planet knows how to return to balance. As you rest now, you are resting on this calm exception, carried through space without sensation. The ground beneath you feels solid and unmoving, even though it is part of a world travelling around the sun, within a galaxy that itself is in motion. Stability here is not the absence of movement. It is movement that has become gentle enough to feel like rest. You don't need to feel grateful or amazed by this. You can simply allow it to be comforting. The planet has been holding life quietly for a very long time. It can hold this moment too. As your body relaxes further, you can imagine that same planetary calm extending upward, supporting you effortlessly, letting sleep arrive naturally without needing to do anything at all. Everywhere in the universe, light carries memory. Not memory in the human sense of emotion or story, but a quiet record of what has been. When light leaves a star, it carries information about that star's temperature, movement, and composition. When it travels across space, it keeps that information intact, unchanged by distance or time. Because of this, the universe is always revealing its past. The light reaching Earth tonight left its sources long ago, sometimes before our planet even existed. Telescopes do not look outward so much as they look backward, gently receiving messages that have been traveling patiently through darkness. This idea does not need to feel vast or overwhelming. It can feel reassuring. The universe does not forget. It does not lose its history. Everything that has happened leaves a trace, carried softly forward without effort. Nothing needs to be held in place. Memory moves on its own. You may notice something similar happening within you now. As you drift towards sleep, memories can appear briefly, then fade. The mind does not try to preserve them. It allows them to pass, trusting that what matters does not need constant attention. Experiences leave their mark, even when you no longer think about them. Sleep is a time when personal memory loosens its grip. The need to remember today or yesterday becomes less important. Like light moving away from its source, memory continues quietly without needing to be followed. You can allow your thoughts to dim, knowing that nothing essential is being lost. Everything that needs to be carried forward already is, held gently in the larger flow of time and rest. Within you there is a quiet space where experiences appear and fade. Thoughts arise, sensations pass through, awareness shifts gently from one moment to the next. Consciousness does not sit in one place. It feels more like a field, open and responsive, changing shape without needing direction. In this way, it resembles the universe itself, not a single object, but a space where many things can exist. When you are awake, this inner universe feels busy. Thoughts orbit one another. Attention moves quickly, but as night deepens, the activity slows. Orbits widen. Some thoughts drift away entirely, leaving larger regions as calm. This is not loss. It is expansion into simplicity. Science still does not fully understand consciousness, and it does not need to. Tonight, understanding is not required. You can experience awareness the way you experience space, by being within it, not by defining it. Awareness does not need to watch itself. It can rest, allowing sensations to blur and soften. In this state, the boundary between inside and outside becomes less clear. Sounds fade into distance. The feeling of your body grows lighter or more diffuse. Awareness spreads gently, no longer focused tightly on any one point. This is a natural movement towards sleep, where consciousness becomes wide and quiet, rather than sharp and directed. You don't need to follow this change. You don't need to encourage it. Like the universe, consciousness knows how to settle into its quieter forms, and as your inner space grows calmer and more spacious, sleep can emerge naturally within it, like a distant star appearing softly in a dark, open sky. There are questions the mind asks because it wants to act, to decide, to change something. And then there are quieter questions, the kind that don't ask for solutions at all. They simply exist, hovering gently in awareness like distant stars you notice without needing to name. Questions about the universe often belong to this second kind. Why is there something rather than nothing? What came before time? Does the universe have meaning, or does meaning arise quietly within us? These questions are not problems, they are spaces. They give the mind somewhere to rest without needing to arrive. Science approaches these questions slowly, carefully, knowing that some answers may never be complete. And that is not a failure. It is part of the calm honesty of exploration. The universe does not rush to explain itself. It allows mystery to remain, stable and unthreatening, like darkness between stars. As you lie here now, you may notice your own questions softening. The ones from the day lose their urgency. Even curiosity becomes gentle. There is less need to know what comes next, or how things will unfold. This is not giving up. It is letting go of the idea that every question must be carried to its end. Sleep is a place where questions are allowed to rest unanswered. The mind does not demand closure. It allows uncertainty to exist without discomfort. In this way, sleep mirrors the universe itself, vast, incomplete, and perfectly at ease with that incompleteness. You can let any remaining questions drift now, unheld and unresolved. They do not need to disappear. They can simply float, becoming quieter and farther away, until awareness itself becomes the only thing left, calm and open, ready to dissolve gently into rest. As sleep draws closer, time begins to behave differently. Moments stretch or soften, losing their clear edges. A thought may seem to last a long while, or it may vanish almost as soon as it appears. This is not confusion. It is the mind easing out of its daytime rhythm and into something slower, more forgiving. In the universe, time slows in places where gravity is strong. Near massive stars or dense objects, clocks would tick more gently than they do far away. This is not something you feel directly, but it reminds us that time is not fixed. It responds to conditions, and as your body relaxes, your own experience of time responds too. You may notice that the future feels less defined now. Tomorrow becomes distant, less detailed. The past loses its pull. Attention rests more fully in this moment, or even drifts beyond it. This is a natural alignment with sleep, where the mind no longer needs to track sequence or duration. There is no schedule here. No need to measure how long you've been listening or how soon you will fall asleep. Time does not need your supervision. It continues quietly, whether you notice it or not. Like a slow current, it carries everything forward without asking for effort. As your awareness softens further, you can allow time to slow as much as it wants. Seconds can dissolve, minutes can fade. There is nothing you need to hold on to. In this gentle stretching of the present, sleep finds its opening, slipping in easily, without marking the moment of arrival, simply becoming the next calm state of being. The universe does not watch in the way a person watches. It has no eyes, no attention, no intention, and yet everything exists within it, held gently by space and time. Stars burn steadily without knowing they are seen. Galaxies turn slowly without awareness of their shape. Existence unfolds without needing observation. This can be a comforting thought. Nothing in the universe requires your attention in order to continue. You're not responsible for keeping anything in motion. You're not needed to witness or understand what is happening beyond this quiet moment. The universe has been continuing peacefully for a very long time, and it will keep doing so whether you're awake or asleep. Sometimes, when the mind is tired, it can feel as though it needs to stay alert, as if letting go might cause something to be missed. But nothing essential happens in the universe all at once. Change is slow, distributed, and gentle. There is always time. There is always room to rest. As you lie here now, you can imagine the universe not watching you but holding you, not paying attention but providing space. There is no judgment, no expectation, no need for response, just quiet allowance. This is a safe condition for sleep, where nothing requires awareness. Awareness can fade. Where nothing needs to be noticed, noticing can soften. You're free to drift, knowing that everything beyond this moment continues calmly without you needing to follow it. And in that freedom, rest deepens naturally, becoming easier with every quiet breath. Very gently now, awareness can begin to turn back toward what is near, not sharply, not fully, but softly, like a tide easing toward shore. The universe remains vast and quiet, but your attention no longer needs to travel through it. It can rest closer to where you are in the stillness of this night. You might notice the subtle presence of the room again, the quiet air, the steady support beneath your body. Sounds, if there are any, feel distant and unimportant, like echoes that don't ask to be followed. Nothing here requires action. Everything is already arranged for rest. Your body continues its quiet rhythms. Breathing moves in and out without instruction. The heart keeps time gently, unhurried. Muscles remain heavy or soft, no longer holding the shape of the day. This return is not a waking up, it is a settling in, a deeper arrival into the place where sleep becomes possible. Outside, the night continues on its own. The earth turns, the sky changes slowly. None of this needs your attention. You are allowed to stay here in this small, calm pocket of awareness while everything else carries on. As the universe feels farther away again, it does not disappear. It becomes a background presence, steady and reassuring. You don't need to think about it anymore. You don't need to imagine it. It has done its quiet work, easing the mind open, slowing the pace of thought. Now the night can take over. Awareness can grow dimmer. The sense of listening can soften or fade entirely. There is nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold. Just this gentle return and the natural continuation into sleep. Earlier, a question was gently placed into the night. Where are we in all of this vastness? Now, that question no longer needs to stand clearly. It has done its work. It can soften the way a sound fades after being heard, leaving behind only quiet. The universe does not require you to locate yourself within it. It does not ask for orientation or understanding. Whether you feel small or connected, awake or asleep, everything remains exactly where it should be. The stars do not need you to know their names. Space does not need you to imagine its size. As you rest now, you may notice that the urge to question has almost disappeared. Curiosity has relaxed into acceptance. There is nothing to solve, nothing to place, nothing to define. The mind no longer reaches outward. It settles inward, or perhaps nowhere at all. This softening is natural. Questions are tools of wakefulness. Sleep does not use them. In sleep, there is no need to know where you are, or how far things extend, or what comes next. Awareness becomes simpler than that. It becomes presence without commentary. You can allow the opening question to dissolve completely now. It does not need an answer. It does not need to return. Like many things in the universe, it can exist briefly, then fade, leaving behind a sense of calm rather than certainty. And in that calm, with questions quiet and attention light, sleep can continue to deepen, undisturbed, effortless, and complete. Rest is not something the universe resists. In many ways, it is the default condition. Between moments of activity, between bursts of energy and formation, there are long stretches where nothing much happens at all. Stars spend most of their lives shining steadily, unchanged. Galaxies drift for billions of years without interruption. Space itself remains calm, even as everything within it slowly evolves. This kind of rest is not inactivity. It is stability, a state where forces balance so well that change becomes gentle and almost invisible. The universe seems to prefer this condition. When something becomes too intense, it eventually settles. When energy gathers, it spreads again. Equilibrium returns again and again. Your body understands this instinctively. After effort comes relaxation. After wakefulness comes sleep. These are not learned behaviors. They are built-in rhythms, as old as life itself. Rest is not a reward for doing enough. It is a necessary state, one that keeps everything functioning smoothly over time. As you lie here now, you are participating in this universal pattern. There is nothing unusual about this moment. Countless systems, large and small, are resting alongside you. Cells slow their activity. The nervous system softens its signals. Even the mind begins to quiet, letting go of the need to monitor or respond. You don't need to try to rest better. You're already resting in the way that fits this moment. Like the universe, you're allowed long periods of calm without explanation. Nothing needs to be accomplished. Nothing needs to change. In recognizing rest as something natural and shared, it becomes easier to surrender to it fully. Sleep is not a separate state you must enter. It is simply a deeper form of the same rest that is already here, surrounding you, holding you, quietly and completely. At this point in the night, there is very little left to follow. The universe no longer needs to be imagined, and the body no longer needs instruction. Everything is already moving in the way it should, slowly, quietly, without resistance. Stars drift, galaxies separate, the earth turns, breathing continues. All of it happens together, without coordination yet without conflict. You can sense this drifting as a shared motion, not travelling somewhere specific, not progressing toward a goal, but simply continuing. The universe does not hurry toward an ending. It flows, moment by moment, allowing each state to be enough while it lasts. Wakefulness gives way to rest in the same way day gives way to night. If there are still thoughts, they are likely softer now, less defined. They may feel distant, like shapes seen through fog. You don't need to move away from them or move toward them. They can float alongside you, losing their edges, becoming part of the same gentle drift. There is no separation here between you and what surrounds you. The boundary between inner and outer has thinned. Awareness is wide, or perhaps fading entirely. This is not something to notice clearly. It is something to allow, like letting yourself be carried by calm water without checking its direction. Everything that exists is moving together through time and space, including you. You don't need to stay awake to be part of it. Sleep does not remove you from the universe. It simply changes how you experience it. And as this shared drifting continues, uninterrupted and effortless, you can let go completely, trust in the flow to carry you onward, gently, quietly, and without thought. There is nothing left to do now, no image to hold, no idea to follow. The flow that has been moving quietly all along continues on its own. The universe does not pause, and it does not hurry. It simply remains in motion, smooth and unbroken, like a current that does not need to be seen to be trusted. At this depth of rest, thought loosens completely. Awareness no longer gathers itself around words or meanings. It spreads, thins or fades, the way light dims at the edge of night. Breathing happens somewhere in the background. Sensation becomes distant. Even listening can soften, becoming less distinct with each moment. This is not a transition you need to notice. There is no clear boundary between being awake and being asleep. One state gently dissolves into the other, without announcement. The mind does not mark the moment. It simply lets go. The universe continues to flow as it always has. Stars burn steadily. Space expands quietly. Time moves without needing attention. And within that vast, steady motion, your rest fits perfectly. There is no separation, no effort, no requirement to remain present. You can allow everything to fade now. Words can pass through without landing. Silence can deepen without needing to be filled. The flow holds you, carries you, and asks nothing in return. Everything flows. Sleep in that motion.